High school was a blur of textbooks, awkward dances, and secret crushes. My biggest secret crush was on Liam, the boy next door. He was everything kind, funny, and with a smile that could light up the entire town. We were inseparable, spending our summers exploring the woods behind our houses and our winters building snow forts. I was convinced he was my soulmate. The only problem? My older sister, Clara. Clara was the sun to my moon. She was beautiful, popular, and effortlessly charming. Everyone adored her, and I couldn't blame them. But my heart ached every time I saw Liam look at her. It was a look I'd only ever dreamed of receiving. I tried to tell myself it was just sisterly admiration, that Liam and I had something special, something deeper. But deep down, I knew. The summer before Liam left for college, everything came to a head. The air was thick with unspoken feelings and the bittersweet scent of impending goodbyes. One evening, under a sky full of stars, I decided I had to tell him how I felt. I'd rehearsed the words 100 times, my heart pounding with a mix of terror and hope. I found him sitting on his porch swing, the same one where we'd shared so many secrets. I took a deep breath and started to speak, but before I could get the words out, he looked at me with those earnest eyes and said, "There's something I need to tell you. I'm in love with Clara." The world stopped. The stars fell. My carefully constructed fantasy shattered into a million tiny pieces. He went on, talking about how he'd always admired her, how he couldn't leave for college without telling her. I just nodded, a lump forming in my throat, unable to speak. He asked for my help. He wanted to plan the perfect way to confess his feelings to her. And like a fool, I agreed. I helped him pick out flowers. I helped him write a heartfelt note, and I watched from my bedroom window as he stood under her balcony, just like a scene from a movie. Clara, of course, was swept off her feet. They became the perfect couple, and I became the perfect third wheel, the supportive best friend and little sister. It was torture. The day Liam left for college, he hugged me tight and whispered, "Thank you for everything. You're the best friend a guy could ask for." Friend. That word echoed in my ears long after his car disappeared down the street. I threw myself into my own studies, trying to forget, trying to build a new life for myself where I wasn't just Clary's sister or Liam's best friend. Years passed. I went to a different college, moved to a different city, and started my own career. I found my own happiness, my own friends, and eventually, my own love. His name was Ethan, and he saw me for me. He loved my quirks, my passion for art, and the way my nose crinkled when I laughed. With Ethan, I never felt like second best. Meanwhile, Liam and Clara's fairy tale started to unravel. The long distance was tough, and their personalities, which once seemed so complementary, began to clash. Liam was a homebody who valued deep conversations and quiet nights, while Clara thrived on social events and constant excitement. I'd hear about their fights through hushed phone calls with my mom, each story a small crack in their perfect facade. They finally broke up during Clara's senior year of college. It was messy and painful. Clara was heartbroken, but in her typical fashion, she bounced back quickly, throwing herself into a whirlwind of parties and new dates. Liam, on the other hand, retreated. He finished his degree and moved back to our hometown, taking a job at a local engineering firm. One holiday, we were all back at our parents' house. It was the first time I'd seen Liam in years. He looked different, more mature, but also sadder. The spark in his eyes was gone. Ethan was with me, and seeing us together, so happy and comfortable, seemed to hit Liam hard. Later that evening, he found me alone in the kitchen. "You look really happy," he said, his voice quiet. I smiled. "I am." We stood in silence for a moment, the air thick with everything left unsaid for a decade. Then he finally said it. "I made a mistake, didn't I? All those years ago." I just looked at him, not needing to say anything. He knew. "Clara was like a bright, shining star," he continued. "I was so dazzled by her light that I didn't see the warmth of the fire right next to me. I was so focused on the idea of her, I never really saw her. But you, I always saw you." He confessed that our friendship, our shared jokes, our quiet understanding, that was what he missed most. He'd mistaken my easy companionship for simple friendship, and Clara's dazzling charisma for deep love. He had chosen the grand, cinematic gesture over the quiet, steady reality. He had chosen my sister, and in doing so, had lost his best friend. He asked if there was any chance, if I ever thought about what could have been. I looked at him, the boy I had once loved with all my heart, and I felt not anger or triumph, but a gentle sense of pity. I shook my head softly. Liam, I spent years wondering what if, but I'm not that girl anymore. And you're not that boy. We've both changed. I told him about Ethan, about the life we were building, about how he made me feel seen and cherished in a way I never had before. I told him I hoped he could find that too. There were tears in his eyes as he nodded. I know, he whispered. I just had to tell you. I regret everything. Seeing him standing there, filled with regret, wasn't the victory I once would have dreamed of. It was just sad. It taught me that sometimes we get so caught up in what we think we want, in the dazzling, bright things, that we miss the quiet, true things right in front of us. My story with Liam wasn't a romance. It was a lesson in seeing people for who they truly are, and more importantly, a lesson in learning to see and value myself. I walked out of that kitchen, leaving the past behind, and went to find my future, who was waiting for me in the living room with a warm smile. And I've never looked back. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever felt like second best, know that your time to shine will come. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.